afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name's Tom Wiercioch. I am the program manager of the Cootes to Escarpment EcoPark System Ecological Corridor Pilot Program.
And can you tell us a little bit about the Cootes to Escarpment EcoPark System?
Sure. So the EcoPark System is an alliance of 9 partner agencies that includes both cities, City of Burlington, City of Hamilton. We've got Halton Region at the table as well. 2 conservation authorities, namely Conservation Halton, Hamilton Conservation Authority, and a variety of nonprofits like Bruce Trail Conservancy, RBG, and the Hamilton Naturalist Club. And to round us off, we've got McMaster University as well. All these agencies own and manage protected areas between East Paradise Marsh and the Niagara Escarpment. They came together in the early 2000s with a really simple idea of, well, let's talk to each other. We all have the same mission and want to protect and restore these areas in this really important natural corridor. Let's make sure we're talking about it and trying to do it together to the best of our abilities. So since 2013, these 9 agencies have been doing just that. We like to think of the EcoPark system as a gap-filling exercise. If you look at a map, there are protected areas fragmented by roads, private landowners, urban development, you name it. We are a gap-filling exercise with the partner agencies to ensure that there are connections between those partner properties. We're also a relationship-building exercise. We talk frequently amongst partner agencies and with landowners to make sure that folks are aware of how important and special this landscape is, and the opportunities to restore and protect it are out there and available to folks.
It's amazing to hear that so many organizations are able to collaborate together to help with the fragmentation of the area. Speaking of fragmentation, you talked about the Eco Corridor Pilot Program. Can you tell us what an Eco Corridor is and exactly what the pilot program is hoping to achieve?
So we live in a fragmented landscape. What I mean by that is there is significant urban population in Hamilton and Burlington. It's only growing. And we also have a really significant and biodiverse area. Hamilton is one of, if not the most biodiverse areas in the country. And when those things mix and mingle, it's really important to make sure that our remaining and existing protected areas are connected. So that's what an ecological corridor does. It makes sure that protected areas are connected so that plants and animals can do their thing, which means everything from having habitat, finding mates, food, things to survive. That's really important in an area like ours, which is, again, very urban with rich biodiversity. Protected areas are only as successful as they can be if they're connected. If they're fragmented or siloed, they are at risk of not being as impactful as they could be. So, ecological corridors are really, really, really critical for plants and wildlife. Our pilot program is a way to enhance existing corridors. So that could mean everything from enhancing culverts and bridges in the area, increasing habitat in protected areas, talking with landowners to encourage them to look at their backyards or patios or any outdoor space they have as a corridor for things like bees and butterflies. It could also mean talking with businesses and things like that so they can consider best practices like low impact development. So that's kind of where the pilot program fits. We are attempting to enhance and create connectivity between partner-owned protected areas so that plants and animals can do better.
And what sorts of species actually benefit from eco corridors?
Sure, there's lots of species, whether it's plants or animals. The one that immediately comes to mind is the blanding turtle. Folks in Hamilton drive down Cootes Drive, there are lots of signs saying, watch out for turtles. That is a good example of a corridor at work. There are fences along Cootes Drive to prevent Blandings turtle from crossing the road, and active volunteer groups who monitor that road to make sure that the Blandings turtle can get across the road safely from one protected area, Hamilton Conservation Authority McMaster, to RPG. Both really, really important marshlands. So Blandings turtle is a really, really good example of how species don't necessarily care about boundaries or borderlines or roads. They're trying to get from important habitat to important habitat. And again, a corridor is just that. It encourages that connectivity for a species like the Blandings turtle.
And you mentioned bridges and culverts, but I was wondering what sorts of things landowners are able to do to get involved with eco corridors and help wildlife around them on their own properties.
Great question. There's lots that a landowner can do, whether it's on a balcony or a backyard. Everything from removing invasive species, planting native plants, considering low impact development. So that means everything from bioswales to when you're replacing a driveway, thinking about a more ecologically appropriate material. So possibilities are kind of endless, and we have really good examples in the EcoPark system. We recently awarded a ecological corridor award to 2 landowners, one in Hamilton and one in Burlington, for their efforts on their properties. A lot of that work was around invasive and native tree plantings. And I think that's one of the great things about the map, which is anyone can see themselves in it. The action plan is really an action plan. It lists a lot of ways that folks can get involved. It's not just for agencies like those around the EcoPark system table. It's for our neighbors. It's for landowners. It's for folks at apartments who want to get involved. There's a lot we can do locally to make sure biodiversity, which is, again, really unique in Hamilton, really critical, and there's a lot of it. So the BAP, or the Biodiversity Action Plan, does great work in outlining how anyone can get involved and protect that biodiversity.
I think it's so important for people to realize that conservation isn't just big conservation areas like the RBG or Conservation Halton or anything like that, but it's even just their own backyards or a small piece of patio where they have plants. It's so nice to know that even a small piece makes a big difference. To finish off our interview, I was wondering if you could share a fun nature story with us.
Absolutely. Go mothing. I don't know if that's the official term, but what I really mean is get a big white sheet, wait till the sun sets, put bright lights on it, and wait to see what happens. Moths are attracted to it, and my God, looking at a moth close up, it's the wildest, freakiest, weirdest thing. They are like the anti-butterfly. They're like little spooky aliens. Kind of look like butterflies, but like not. So I would recommend mothing. Get a white sheet, bright lights, wait till the sun sets, throw those lights on the sheet, and see what happens.
I love moths, so I love the fact that we're promoting looking at moths. They have the cutest little antenna. Anyone who hasn't looked up close, they have very feathery antenna, super cute. Is there any final words you'd like to share with us today?
Go out on a hike. Spend an afternoon. Get outside. There are so many excellent opportunities, so many cool trails in Hamilton. It's a great city to explore and discover natural areas. It's the waterfall capital of the world. So my final thought would be that. Make sure you're getting out there and experiencing the beautiful natural areas we have.